Okay, this is going to be a follow-up to my last video, which was my deconversion, which wasn't really a deconversion. It was just sort of me saying my views on what I believe and religion and all that fun stuff. The reason I'm making an update is because you might have noticed I haven't made a video in a long time. 4 months actually, which was my last video, and 4 months is a long time for me anyway to sort of reconfigure my thoughts about things, and there's some things that are a little more solid in my mind, some things that I've sort of thought have been a little less logic than I used to. That didn't sound right, did it? Some things that I've decided are less logical than I used to think they were. That makes more sense. Okay. Basically speaking, I'm an atheist, flat out. I mean, that's I understand the term atheist better, and I think I understand more how probable the idea of God actually is, and so I understand that it's such a sliver of probability that I'm definitely an atheist. In my last video, I claim to be an atheist, but that's because I define God in this sort of weird way. What I'm basically trying to do is trying to get away with calling myself an atheist without actually being an atheist. I think I was more of a deist when I made that video, sort of an agnostic deist. You know, I was agnostic about the idea of a deistic kind of God. While I still think that that's the only sort of God that that's possible, I've learned more about physics and philosophy and other such things, and so I've sort of realized that that sort of God is much less probable than what I originally decided. So that having said, this is my official Atheist Coming Out video, and I'm going to post this to the Atheist OUT Campaign, because I might win some cool stuff. So there's a few questions. I got my monitor turned off because it put some blue light on my face, but I'm going to turn it on anyway, so you're going to see blue light on my face anyway. Okay, there's some questions on here. Who are you? I'm Brian. Hi. Hobbies. YouTube is probably my only hobby. Interests. Science, religion, psychology. Those are probably the three big ones. There's some others too. Acting, I kind of like, I inherited that from my brother, but I never really pursued it. Career. I am currently unemployed, and I have no particular career goals right now. I'm just looking for a friggin' job. Were you raised with religious views? Kind of not. Both my parents are religious, but neither of them ever really went to church on Sundays, didn't require me or either of my brothers to go to church. When did you start changing your views? Well, when I was about 10, I realized that Santa Claus wasn't real. I think that's probably kind of old for some people. For me, I doubted up until that point, but once I was 10, I was for sure positive that Santa Claus did not exist. And that's probably about the same time as I kind of decided that God didn't exist. And then well, you look at my other video, it kind of explains what happened after that point, and everything's pretty much the same. What religion were you a part of, if any? I used to consider myself a Wiccan. I was never part of a coven or anything like that. I was what they call a solo practitioner. So I was a Wiccan for a short period of time. What caused you to change? Learning about various religions, learning more about science. That's probably about it. If you were raised with no religious values, what values did your parents teach you? That doesn't apply to me. If you are a parent, I'm not. That doesn't apply to me. Who has been a big influence in your life and your views? Not really a whole lot of people. I tend to get most of my views. I'm a very independent thinker. I tend to get most of my views from myself. Like both my parents are religious. I'm not. The person I think has the most influence over me is my brother Tom, and he's actually a Mormon, which is very ironic. He hasn't always been. He's a recent convert, but yeah, I'm a very independent thinker. How does your family and friends feel about your views? Most people are just, you know, tolerant about it. They're like, that's Brian. He can believe whatever he wants to believe, and I feel the same way about them. So, yeah. Do you keep your atheism mostly to yourself? For the most part, probably. I mean, when it comes up, I'll discuss it. But I mean, I'm not just gonna, you know, be an evangelizing atheist. Have you heard about reason? Do you live in a community that is accepting of atheists? Probably, for the most part. It's a pretty conservative area, but I haven't met any people that were. This is California. It's Northern California, which is the worst part of California, but it's California, so people tend to be a little bit more liberally minded here. It's, you know, it's not the Bible Belt. Have you encountered discrimination or hatred? No. Have you felt like sometimes you have to hide your views? Probably sometimes, if I'm talking to somebody who's really religious. How has being an atheist influenced your life? I think I have a better respect for science than a lot of people, and I've always had a huge respect for science, even when I was very young, even before I went through my agnostic, deistic phase. Okay, and that's all the questions. So that's it, and and I can't think of anything to add, so I'm just going to leave it at that. See you later.